Hi everyone, I'd like to just do a very quick simple screencast recording just to explain to you the function of using the single element queue. Okay, to begin, right, let me just share that in this simple video I have a main program. Okay, this is a main VI. Okay, now what this program does is that it's just a simple switch, and this switch has two states. It's a Boolean switch. So if I flick the switch up, it will just go to on, or if I push it down, it's off. So when it's in the on state, it was going to blink this LED, and similarly when it's put to off, the LED will be turned off. So maybe let me just run this code to explain to you first. So you can see that currently I'm running this VI. Alright, so if I click the switch on, yeah, the LED will just blink continuously, very simple. And when I click the switch to be off, okay, the LED will stop blinking. And I deliberately make it simple so that I just add two stop buttons because there are two independent while loops. Alright, so if you come to see this part of the block diagram, very simply there are two while loops. Okay, now the key thing here that I'm trying to explain on is the function called the single element queue. This function here, which you will see later what it does inside. This function is actually derived from the home security system, the same function that is being used there. Okay, so maybe to illustrate first, you can see that if I were to zoom in now, in order to understand this, you need to understand that if I look at this part here, right, looking at this message, the message is in the form of a string. So the queue name, okay, is separated from the message by a backslash. I think it's called a slash. Okay, maybe it's just a separator by a slash, as you can see in this string example that I have here, right? So earlier when I was flicking the switch, so I used this function called the select function. All right, so it will select when the switch is flick on, right, through a Boolean true, it will take the top part of the string. Alright, so he will send in the queue name. The system manager here is the queue name, which is, I have another bottom loop here, which is the queue name here. So over here I created a queue, obtained queue, and created a particular queue with this name called system manager. Alright, and at the bottom of the queue, the element data type, I just use an empty string to feed in, so that it creates this queue reference. So over at the bottom loop here, what it does is it just continuously dequeues whatever message is on this system manager queue. Right. So you will dequeue the message, and then you will just decode the message. Inside there are only three states. So you got the do nothing state, you got the blink LED, and then there's a LED off, blink. So what I did was I just created a simple LED, as you can see over here. So in order to create this, is just a simple property node. So how I get the property node, you just right click on this, create. Okay, property node, just use a blinking, okay, as you can see over here, right? So in order to blink the LED, you have to change the state to right state, and then you can just wire a constant, simple constant to this guy here, right? So and then you can change the setting. So if you want it to blink, then you just put it to true. If you want it to stop blinking, then you just put it to false. Okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, so just to illustrate, so at the start of the program, I here and at the top command loop here, I just initially off the blinking first. Alright. So, okay, now let's go back to the gist of this part here. The most important part is this single element queue, which is the command parser using the queue. So the single element queue is a universal sub VI. This is basically a sub VI that you can pipe to any command here. You can technically send any, with the name of the queue name and the message, you can technically send to any queues that you may have at the bottom part here. So internally what it does, it uses this thing called the match pattern function, which I want to explain to you now. So if you double click on this single element queue. Okay, double click, you will see this is the front panel. Basically, quite simply, it does have this pink color part here is the queue and the message, which is connected to this terminal here, the pink color terminal. So this enable button, Boolean button, is connected to the first terminal here, and then of course you got the error in and the error out, as you can see here. Okay, let's take a look at what the function itself does. Okay, so the function itself is quite simple. Okay, it looks something like this. Alright, so there's an enable button there. So by default it's true lah. So if you can see carefully, right, what it does is that if at the beginning, we look at the string input, the queue message, queue/message is go inside this thing called the match pattern. So the match pattern will look for this slash to separate out the queue name from the message itself. So once you obtain the queue name, you will create this obtain queue you will not create you do not create the queue if the given queue reference is not found. So the default is set to false. So you will not create the queue, right? Because the queue is already in existence in the main program. Alright, and then you also have the message. Alright, and then over here you enqueue the message, which in this case is the blink LED, the on or off state, will be enqueued into here, and then moving along, then you just temporarily release the queue. You want to see the comments here. The queue is released instance only removes the queue reference, but it does not destroy. It does not destroy the queue itself. Alright, so I think if you try to understand this part is the same as the part that I've taken directly from the home security system. I did not change anything except I just changed the icon. Okay, so this function is exactly the same. Alright, so maybe go and study it. Alright, yeah, so this is okay. So so coming back to here. Okay, so you can see that at the top part here, basically you just enqueue the queue name and also the message that you want to be passed into this single element queue, command parser I call it. And at the bottom here, alright, is the name of that queue, and you basically dequeue the function. I hope this video will help you understand a little bit more about this single element queue. Thanks for watching.